We've all been there, right? Scrolling through our social media feeds, and then we see it, a shocking headline about a political leader, a miracle cure, or, just this inspirational story that we have to share, or a gut-wrenching story about a well-known ministry. And what's our first instinct? What's the first thing we want to do? We want to go and we want to hit that share button. We want to share it. We want to celebrate with people. We might want to warn people about something coming up, or inform them that this great miracle or a miracle cure has come out, and we want to share it. But what if what we're sharing is a lie? What if what we're sharing is a falsehood? What if what we're sharing only leads to greater division among, the church or our country, because it is a falsehood that we are perpetuating more and more and more?
Deception and double deception.
And before we know it, it's gotten out of control, and we were a part of that. As believers, we are called to be people of truth. Jesus himself said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. There's no one comes to the Father except through him, but he is saying he's truth. And our desire to share what is true often comes from a good place. Like, it comes from this place that we want to share truth. We want to just have people know the truth. And in an age of where the algorithm gives us clickbait, our good intentions can sometimes be hijacked. Let me say that again. Our good intentions can sometimes be hijacked, and we can instantly become agents of misinformation and confusion. It can also create fear and division. And then we keep going and we keep sharing false witness about our neighbor. Our neighbor, who is our neighbor? Our neighbor is anybody. It's anybody, right? And we see in Exodus 20:16 says, you shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. Our neighbor is anybody, right? And if we are sharing these things that are mischaracterized, misinformation, false, or just plain lies, we are bearing false witness. We are perpetuating an attitude of false witness against somebody else. We are spreading a false witness. I kind of think about, are we innocent if we share something without knowing that it's wrong? And I think in some regards, yes, but in some regards, no. Because see, we're responsible for every single action we do. Everything we do, we are responsible for. So if we're out here sharing something that is wrong or a lie or misinformation, we are just as responsible for that as the person that's putting it out. We should be doing our due diligence to make sure what we are sharing is true and not just sounds good or not just lines up with what I believe. So therefore, I'm going to share it because it lines up with what I believe, and it could be totally wrong. Why does this matter so much, though? Why does this matter so very much? It's because God hates falsehood. In Proverbs, he tells us that a lying tongue or a false witness who pours out lies, the Lord detests that. The Lord detests a false witness and lies. When we share things that are untrue, we're participating in something that God hates. Ephesians 4:25 says this, therefore, having put away falsehood, let each one of you speak truth with his neighbor. Like, this is becoming an epidemic within the church. Social media and clickbait and AI has made our world call into question. Everything that we see, we now have to question, is that true? Honestly, we probably should have been doing that from the beginning of time. But every time we look at something that looks good, we have to question, is this true? Is it just clickbait? Is somebody just trying to share a lie? Is somebody just trying to get a click? Or is it AI now? Is artificial intelligence telling me something that's not real? I just saw a video of President Trump being in a mariachi band. I know without a shadow of a doubt that's false, but it looked really good, right? So we have to question, is this good? Is this true? What is this? And if we perpetuate these lies that are going out, perpetuating these falsehoods that are going out, these misinformation, we are adding to falsehood. We're adding to the lies. We're adding to something God hates. I think about this too, is so many times we see these clickbait articles about the church, right? About the church said this, or this person said that, or this spiritual leader said this, or this pastor did that. And a lot of times they are lies, or they're taken out of context. And we're so quick to be like, oh man, I have to warn these people that this pastor is a wolf in sheep's clothing, when they might not be at all. And we share it without researching it, without making sure it's true. That's a problem. I've kind of come up with 3 reasons, or 3 ways, I should say, of making sure that we question all of this, right? We question what's going on. The first one is this: who is the source? Is it a reputable news organization, and even they can get it wrong sometimes, with a history of accuracy? Or is it from Joe Bob's blog spot on google.com? Like, where is it? What's the primary source? Was it an opinion, or was it fact? Can you even identify what the credible source is? The second one is this: what's the tone? Is the post designed to inform or inflame? Does it use an emotionally charged argument to make you feel a certain way? Is the post for unification? Is it a unifying post, or is it for division? Is it dividing? Is it doing something to make people not like somebody? Is it something to not like a church or a denomination or something like that? What is the tone of the post? And have I verified this somewhere else? The third one, this one's important. Have I verified it something else? Over the last couple of weeks, we have seen so much stuff come out about different people, if it's true or not. And I've heard a lot of stuff that sounds really good. Sounds good. And I hope to God it's true. But I've only heard it from one source. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to post this because I've only heard it from one source, and this one source is saying it, and I hope it's true. And I'm like, this would be awesome, but if it's only coming from one source and it's not even a primary source, maybe we should hold off sharing that. See if we can dig a little deeper to make sure it's true. Because honestly, let's think about it for a second. It is super easy to hit that share button. It takes a fraction of a second to hit that share button. But the problems that click could have could resound throughout years. I think about falsehoods, and one of these stories that I love to use about falsehoods is back in the 90s, there was this guy who said he worked for NASA. He said he worked for NASA, and he absolutely did not. And he was going to churches. He even made newspapers, right? He was going to churches and saying, NASA has found proof that the sun still stood still during Joshua. That Bible story, we have definitive proof. NASA has proved it, and I'm here to tell you about it. And he went around, and within 6 months to a year, he was found to be completely false and a liar. I still hear people tell that story today as if it was true. It's been 30 years since that falsehood was deemed falsehood. As we found out it was a lie. 30 years, and it's still making the rounds on the internet today. I still see it from time to time today. 30 years later, a lie. And the reason it gets there is people don't verify. People don't check. People don't take the time to make sure of what they are looking at is true before we hit that share button. How much more today as we take in information more so than ever before in our nation. In the history of mankind, I should say, we are taking in more information that we weren't designed to take in. And we don't have time to disseminate if everything we're taking in is true. So we just take it on the gut reaction. And if it's something amazing, we hit that click, we share it on our Facebook post, we share it on TikTok, we share it on Twitter, whatever else. And then we forget about it and we just move on. We kind of store that in the back of our head. But somebody else is reading that and somebody else is being amazed, and it's wrong. I'm going to go as far to say, I'm not going to say this actually. I'm going to ponder this, if you will. So it's kind of saying it without taking responsibility, if you will. I almost wonder if it's a sin if we share something and we don't make sure it's true. Now, I'm not talking about your cousin Vinny's like wedding photos. Share those all days. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about these news organization stories, these sensational claims, these things that sound amazing, but we don't take the time that we find out it's untrue. Let's take an extra few minutes and think, should I share this? Is this reputable? Can I verify this somewhere else? Is this coming from Joe Bob's blog spot, or is this coming from a credible news organization? Is it coming from a credible person? And if the answer is no to those, maybe not hit that share button, or maybe wait a little bit longer to make sure it's true. Because in a world full of deception that we are entering today, we should be standing as Christians for the truth. And if we're perpetuating a lie, how can we be standing for truth? With that, hey, God bless you. I hope you have an amazing week. Don't be so fast to hit that share button. But hey, if you would like to, hit the share button on this one. I would appreciate it. Like and subscribe. God bless you.